So today we're reviewing
Avatar.
So we're kind of in like the mirror dimension here with this background. We are currently away from the home studio. We are reviewing the original Avatar movie because we are going to see Avatar: The Way of Water this Thursday. I know we're behind. What are your overall thoughts of the original Avatar movie?
I would definitely say Avatar was a game changer from when it came out. It was one of the probably the earliest movies to be as advanced as it was with special effects in 2009.
Revolutionary, yeah.
Pretty revolutionary. There's so many things to like about it. It's not a perfect movie, but it's one that we might be a little bit biased, as you'll see in this review. We've been to Disney World and Animal Kingdom, so we've been in their Pandora world. Not actually Pandora, but Pandora Disney World. And it's just, that world is just such a cool world to be in. And the movie that was told in it was an entertaining movie, some great characters, some great scenes, very creative, and there's a lot to like about it. And I mean, it still sticks with me now, and we saw that back when it came out in 2009.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people saying that Avatar, it was a different movie. It was kind of the first big action, crazy CGI movie before a lot of these bigger movies, and people are going back saying that it really wasn't that good, but I disagree. I think this movie is still excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the first of its kind, really, with just mostly CGI, and this movie has a lot of effects. But I still think this movie holds up. Absolutely amazing CGI, excellent action, just everything about it is so good. It's not a perfect movie, but still, looking back at this movie, I think it's great and has so many things to like about it. Finally, go into our main positives, even though we kind of already covered them.
Yeah, I mean, main positives has to be just the world itself, how creative it was, the concept of the movie, having humans be able to be on this otherworldly planet, and also just like study the ecosystem that's on it, from the Na'vi to the Banshees to the other animals. And once again, the fact that we rode that ride, Avatar Flight of Passage, like, you just get to see like the plants, the floating rocks with waterfalls coming down from, the animals, the herds of them, the kind of
smells.
Like Native American type. I mean, the Na'vi are kind of based off the Native Americans a little bit, just with how they kind of hunt. They use bow and arrows. They're one with the ecosystem, in that they play that perfectly. Kind of like at least the ones we've seen so far seem to be working with the environment. When they kill things, like they're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah,
and
there's a connection with all.
And from an audience standpoint, you pull for them because you're going against the bad humans that are there to just destroy things and get the resources from them. Yeah. Obviously, the special effects were ahead of their times, and just a lot of really cool sequences. And I just think the creativity alone is what is very enjoyable about this movie. It's pretty action packed, good cast across the board, and good performances across the board as well, from the villains to the good people.
Yeah, CGI, the effects, the acting, the main characters, Jake Sully and Neytiri. You got the villain character, who's excellent. The overall setting in the movie is amazing, and like you just mentioned, the ride. If you do this ride in Disney, I mean, it's just unreal. It's kind of cheating, because to put you on a ride like that, if you put any ride like that, you would be immersed in this world. But that set aside, this whole world is amazing, with all the different creatures, the unique ones. You got the kind of rhino creatures. You got the Thanatar, which is the main creature in the movie. You have like the wolves. You have the Banshees. Then you have the main Banshee, the red and orange one, that is just epic. I mean, I love the design on that creature. And then you've got the design even of all the planes and the robot mech suits that are just awesome. The main villain is in that main mech suit. And all the ships and guns and effects and music, and there's so many positives. I can really just name off everything. The action, amazing. The overall epic final battle scene is great. And then, yeah, the overall theme of this movie is kind of just like, there's environmentalist things that don't really beat you over the head with it. It's just like you see them destroying trees, and people obviously want to protect trees. So it's a pretty easy message to get behind. And do we want to go into our negatives?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely negatives. I mean, I'd say a few negatives could be the fact that I think it's a little too long. I remember thinking back when I watched this as a kid. Where it starts to drag for me is it's the end for me. There's a few times where you thought it was going to end, but it just kept going and it just kept going.
Dancing scenes.
There needed to be scenes with Jake Sully seeing how the Na'vi people did their things each day, but maybe they could have cut down some of those scenes of him just getting used to the crew. You have obviously the freaking jerk Na'vi guy who doesn't like Jake Sully. It does create a good sequence at the end where like he's obviously helping him out and like that there's some growth there. But I think there was a few characters like there's spoilers in this review, right?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the main queen of the Na'vi dies, and then obviously Sigourney Weaver dies. And it just seemed like there was just a lot. It just seemed like it kind of dragged at times from a kid's standpoint, because I was like 11 or 12 when this movie came out, and obviously I enjoyed it. But yeah, I'd say it was a little too long, a little too much dancing, a little too much just
too much rituals.
But again, like I mean, it's nothing terrible. But yeah, I think like it's just very long, and I think that can be a negative in its own. And I mean, some complaints that people are dying. I mean, you can't say that's a negative. But I mean, you really can't get mad about the people dying. I mean, that's more just storytelling or storyline issues that are just what you not want to see. That's probably the biggest thing for me. I think it's just a little too long, and maybe you could have a little more fleshed out villains, because you got a couple villains that are just like the one guy who's looking at the screen asking for he's like, slow down, Jamie. If you flip over a rock, you're gonna hit some sacred bush. I like characters like that.
Villains,
but you could have had a little more realistic villains, I think. Even though obviously I think it's a positive for most movies. But.
Well, that's what I was saying. The villains some of them are kind of ridiculous, but
I mean, that's pretty out there.
The negatives, I guess I would say, it is a long movie. I agree. There's certain points where there's a lot you think it's going to end. Yeah, I agree with that too. There are too many scenes where I feel like they are trying to explain the whole thing about the Na'vi and then the Iwa spirits, and Iwa is like the kind of Mother Nature god. I do think there's too much like singing and dancing, and that's just like nothing is happening. I do agree.
Kind of like the Na'vi River ride.
Yeah, and then certain things about like they're doing things to try to bring people back, and that's where it starts dragging. But I'm really grasping at straws here for negatives.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of this movie that it's kind of slow to start. Everything on the island, everything on Pandora is amazing for the most part. Because even the training, like him trying to get in the Banshee, I feel like that's all necessary. And them killing the Thanator is the biggest negative, because that scene peed me off. So, and they didn't include him in the ride, so that just makes me more mad.
That's not really bad.
But no, it's a major negative. But you want to give your final thoughts and score?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually sitting between two numbers. I'm actually going to go up thinking about it now. Like, there really is not many negatives in this movie, and it obviously set up not only some sequels that are going to be coming out here in the next few years, but also an entire themed section of a park at Disney World, Animal Kingdom. Definitely have to give Avatar from 2009 a solid 8.5 out of 10.
Overall, this movie still holds up today. People try to say that this movie it just got overhyped because it was the first one of something. I disagree. This movie, I watched it again. It's really entertaining, so creative, and there's so many cool things about it. The creatures, the humans, and all the technology and the actual conflict. The battles are amazing. Great villain, great main characters, interesting plot, and it really gets you to the point where it like makes you mad enough and invested enough to have major payoffs in this movie, where you really think everything's going wrong and then everything turns around. And I thought that was really amazing. And there's so much still to go with this movie, and I'd have to give it a 9 out of 10. Because if they wouldn't have killed the Thanator, then I might have been a 10. But that scene still scarred me as a kid.
0.5.
It still peed me off. Yeah, that took down 0.5. And I'll give it a 9 out of 10 because I still think it's a great movie. And I'm looking forward to the sequel.
So let's in the comments what you thought of Avatar from 2009.
Is that a Banshee?
This is actually a Blue from the Velocicoaster at Universal. Really good ride. Check out Movie Mania's theme park reviews, and you'll see that ride review in there. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching our review of Avatar. Very excited to see Avatar 2, Avatar 2, The Way of Water. Should be pretty good, hopefully. been hearing a lot of good things about it. It's very long, so I'm tempering my expectations, but I'm hoping to be blown away with some of the visual stuff and some really cool scenes. But also, it's going to be a very big review for the channel. We have a lot of people joining the review, some new faces, so lots of cool stuff to come here in the week. Thanks for watching our review of Avatar, guys. Let us know in the comments what you thought about Avatar. I give it an 8.5. Can you give it a 9? Can you give it a 9? And just want to make sure I got that right.
I got you on it.
And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.
Steve Ico.